What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Let's take a look at a middleweight champion by the name of George Chip. He is to your right. And Leo Florian HOUCK, he's to your left. These two men would get it on. And it's an interesting article that we're looking at. But let's learn about these men first. George Chip, who was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, August 25th, 1888. He died Newcastle, Pennsylvania, November 6, 1950. He had total bouts in his career of 65 fights. 42 wins, 36 knockouts, 17 losses. He was stopped 3 times. Now, what's interesting about him, he fought a fighter by the name of Billy Manford. He fought him 8 times. And what's interesting is he lost to him. Because of the style, he had a problem with him. And we're going to connect him with some other fighters who had similar styles. He fought Buck Krause 3 times. Jack Dillon, the Giant Slayer, who became a light heavyweight champion. Fought him 6 times, lost to him 6 times. Was in the ring with Willie K.O. Brenham. Joe Gorman. Jeff Smith, lost to him. Leo Florian HOUCK, lost to him. Bob Mohart, defeated him. Les Darcy, lost to him. Now, if you're not familiar with Les Darcy, type in Scrapbook Boxing and I go through his profile. Les Darcy was a very, very good fighter. Was in the ring with Frank Klaus, and that's who George Chip took the middleweight championship belt away from. Frank Klaus. George Chip had a brother by the name of Joe Chip. He knocked out Harry Greb. Knocked him out clean in the corner. Greb didn't even know where he was when he woke up. And Joe Chip was in the corner of Jack Dempsey, 1919, when Jack Dempsey would face Jess Willard for the heavyweight championship of the world. Now, Joe Chip was a very good fighter himself, but he was known as a dirty fighter. He was the brother of George Chip. And George Chip would face Mike Gibbons and Tommy Gibbons, face both of them. He lost to Mike Gibbons twice, and he fought Tommy Gibbons 3 times, and he lost to him 3 times. Now, I'm using this as an example because of the styles. When you look at Leo Florian HOUCK, he was born November 4th, 1888, and he died January 21st, 1950. He was 61 years of age at the time of his death. Fought from 1904 to 1926. He retired the same year that Harry Greb had passed away. Now, he fought from the flyweight division to the heavyweight division, had 207 fights. 1913, had 6 rounds with George Chip, no decision. These men would get it on twice. We fight him again 1918 in 12 rounds. And Leo Florian HOUCK was in the ring with Harry Lewis, Harry Greb, Frank Klaus. He was in the ring with George Chip, Billy Papke, Faye Kaiser, Ed Gunboat Smith, Young Odo, Al McCoy, Barry Levinsky, Jeff Smith, Jack Dillon, Gene Tunney, Eddie McCarthy, Willie Meade, Johnny Wilson. Most of these fighters Harry Greb faced. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because of the styles. Let me read an article to you here. From left to right, you have Leo Florian HOUCK, and right you have George Chip. Leo HOUCK faced 12 boxers who had taken world champions 24 occasions and was never knocked down. And we're speaking of Leo Florian HOUCK. Always gave better than he took. He took Harry Lewis 3 times. The gloves he has on his fist were the same gloves he used when he faced George Chip. Now, he was in a ring with Jack Britton 3 times. Jack Britton, as we know, was a welterweight champion. What's interesting about Jack Britton, he was hurt when he fought Benny Leonard. And the only reason why he kept that title was because Benny Leonard hit him while he was down. Leonard was disqualified. And Jack Bitten would lose his next fight, or his next two fights, to Mickey Walker, the toy bulldog. Jack Bitten was in the ring 20 times with Ted Kid Lewis, He would face Leo Florian Hulk 3 times. Joe Thomas, who was in the ring with Stanley Ketchel. Frank Klaus, who, like I said to you, George Chip took the title from. He fought Frank Klaus 3 times. Harry Greb 3 times. Johnny Wilson twice. He fought light heavyweights such as Jack Dillon. Battling Levinsky, Gene Tunney. Fought Gene Tunney twice. Heavyweights such as Ed Gunboat Smith. He met George Chip 4 times. And 4 times, Hulk defeated George Chip, who never gave Leo a title shot. September 16th, 1911 in Philadelphia. Won 6 rounds. And every newspaper decision. June 13th, 1912, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hulk won this one and was ease. November 15th, 1913. And he defeated the remainder of the opponents, April 21st, 1914. After losing the title to Al McCoy, George took on a 12-rounder with Hulk, finally, when he lost the title, out of Youngstown, Ohio, was Hulk out front with a win all the way. Nearly 78 years has passed since the late Leo Hulk was born. Strange but true, a carbon copy of the Ring General has not yet been found. And what had happened, they got a hold of his gloves. And it was tailor-made to fit. And with the styles of the opponents that I told you, he had difficulty with them. But Leo Florian Hulk was a very, very good fighter, and he was very crafty. But he knew all the tricks of the trade, and he had custom gloves that fit him perfectly. And George Chip just couldn't handle him, couldn't defeat him. George Chip was a very good fighter. He was a world champion. But he would never put his title on the line with Leo Florian Hulk. I just thought that was a very interesting article. So thanks for hanging in with me. This is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Leo Florian Hulk and George Chip. 2 very good fighters during their time. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Salute.